Later this month, the Supreme Court will decide if Obamacare subsidies are legal. Now, if the justices rule against the president's signature health plan, the concern is 8 million Americans might lose their health care coverage. For more on this subject and others, we're pleased to be joined again by the former Speaker of the House and former presidential candidate Newt Gingrich. Newt is the author of the new book, Breakout: Pioneers of the Future, Prison Guards of the Past, and the Epic Battle That Will Decide America's Fate. So, Newt, let's talk Obamacare. If the justices say it's out of line, what do you think will happen?
Well, I hope that the Republican House and Senate will pass some kind of a bridge that enables people who are currently, for example, in the middle of chemotherapy or who are in the middle of kidney dialysis. We can't drop them because of some kind of political fight and lawsuit. So I think we need a bridge from Obamacare to a better future, and I hope that the Republicans this summer and early fall will pass something which basically says the individual citizen who's a patient is going to be held harmless while those of us in public life figure out the right solution. I think it'd be very, very wrong, both morally and politically, for us to dump people and leave them in a situation where they weren't able to get their chemotherapy or their radiation treatment or their kidney dialysis. So look for something like a bridge to a better health future as a step away from Obamacare, not total repeal, not getting it all done while he's president, but beginning to set up the 2017 opportunity to get to a better health system.
So a bridge, a kind of public policy triage based on humanitarian concerns. Of course, Newt, one of the concerns of the Republican base is all the promising to repeal Obamacare, now what some perceive as a retreat. How does that play politically for the GOP?
Well, I think you have to ask people a very simple question. Do you think Barack Obama is president? If Barack Obama is president, then it takes 67 votes in the Senate to repeal Obamacare. Do you realistically think we're going to get 67 votes to repeal Obamacare? Well, if we're not, and the answer is no, we're not going to, then you can have political theater, you can move a bill, but in the end, you're going to be back at square one. And so I think what we have to do is set the stage for a decisive election in 2016, a real choice between a corrupt, big government, permanent politician family, and a chance to go to a new generation of leadership, new opportunities, new solutions. If we win that choice, keep the Senate and the House, have a Republican president, then you can realistically, in 2017, get a dramatically better health future than you're ever going to get while Barack Obama is in the White House.
And to that upcoming election, Newt, so many Republican candidates, it appears the field presidentially grows exponentially. Is there strength in numbers, or is there a risk for the GOP?
Oh, I think there's strength in numbers. Look, I'm a free enterprise competition guy. I don't think it hurts, for example, to have the Super Bowl or the World Series come, or for that matter, the Final Four come at the end of a season with lots of players. So let's start with the idea we're going to have, I think, maybe 23, 25, 26 candidates to start. We're going to winnow them out pretty rapidly starting in January with Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, then South Carolina. And then there may be as many as 21 states the Tuesday after South Carolina. So you can see a pretty rapid shrinkage to 4, 5, 6, and then they'll slug it out for, say, most March and April. And I think by the end of April, we'll probably have a nominee. I think that's healthy. Look, I believe in competition. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton had 22 debates, and they didn't finally solve who the nominee was until the middle of June 2008. Didn't seem to hurt Obama at all when he debated John McCain. The practice seemed to have been good for him.
So the candidates competing against each other will make for a stronger nominee. At this point, anyone look stronger than anybody else to you, or what do you see happening?
Well, as you know, J.D., because we've been friends for so many years, Callista and I are very fond of virtually all the candidates. We know virtually all of them personally. Some of them go back many, many years. I served with John Kasich starting in 1982, for example. Clifton and I did the first big fundraiser for governor for Scott Walker. We're very fond of Rick Perry. I used to know Marco Rubio before he was Speaker of the House in Florida. Jeb Bush was my translator when I did Radio Mambi in the primary in 1992 in Miami for his dad. So, I mean, these are long friendships with people that I think are competent, decent people. And I have a simple ground rule. I'm now a grandfather, and I ask myself, who makes me comfortable in the Oval Office? Not who do I want as a candidate, but who makes me comfortable as a president? I can tell you, I think there are 5 or 6 people who would be superb presidents. One of them will be nominated. My bias favors a governor, but frankly, you got very talented senators running. And I think the contrast with Hillary Clinton is going to be remarkable, and I think that our candidate's going to end up doing surprisingly well.
Well, quite the diplomat in this conversation, Newt, and I do appreciate that. Now let's turn back into the author of a new book. Tell us about your new book in the 45 seconds we have left.
Breakout basically says there's so much new technology, and everybody watching us knows that with your iPhone and your tablet and all the different things we now have. There's so much new technology that if we could accelerate developing and applying the new technology, we could break out from the economic and governmental malaise that we're in right now, that we're blocked by prison guards of the past, the lobbyists who prop up the old institutions. But we have a chance with Pioneers of the Future just to develop a dramatically better future for our country and for our children and grandchildren. And every time I turn around, I find new evidence of how much exciting technology and how much new science is coming down the road.
Former Speaker Newt Gingrich, sir, you have our thanks, and Newsmax Prime continues after this.